Over the last 2 years, I think it's almost been just about 2 years since ChatGPT was officially launched. Since then, the capability of Gen AI has gotten a lot better. All of you are familiar with it. Sorry. Hallucinations, which were a huge issue a year ago, they've pretty much been managed. It's not a real issue. You can control it pretty well. You can, in fact, push it up. You can push it down. There are all these levers that all the component builders have now put in place. And the costs are dropping very fast for that unit of capability, which is generative AI capability. Right? These three things will continue on. You can assume that that's the case. Now, what do you do with it? If all of that is happening, then we should be doing pretty well. How many people think we are really getting value now out of the Gen AI investments we have made? Anyone? Some? No? Okay. So all's not well. And the answer is in the question, obviously. And that is that understanding how well that fundamental foundation of Gen AI works doesn't necessarily imply that you can get full value out of it. And it comes from a simple observation, which we are all aware of, that Gen AI, at the end of the day, is an interpolation tool. It is going to work with what you give it. It interpolates an answer. It doesn't extrapolate an answer. You cannot give it garbage and get gold out of it. It doesn't work that way. And there are all these systems that are now being developed to try to figure out what is the quality of input that you can build in to train these GPT models. And so last year, around just about a year ago, a little over a year ago, Microsoft came out with this GPT model called Phi. How many of you have heard of it? PHI? Phi? No? Okay. So they came up with a very provocative title for launching it. And the title of that paper said, "Textbooks are all you need." Have you heard of that? Anyone? No. Very simple observation. What they said was they could get as good results with their GPT, which is the Phi model, using high-quality textbooks as input, as opposed to the World Wide Web, which has a different level of quality, we'll all acknowledge. So by using only high-quality textbook content, they were able to get the model to behave as well with a much smaller size and much less training, and yet give equally high-quality results. In fact, better than most of the other models out there, which are 20 times bigger, 50 times bigger in terms of billions of parameters. So the original one they did was like 2 billion parameters. And this was competing with parameters out there that are 80 billion, 500 billion, so on and so forth. Right? So it's very clear that that interpolation capability that GPTs do relies on high-quality content. The better the content that is fed into it, it's well understood, the better the answers. Especially since the hallucination parts are now taken care of. So that notion of quality, which was a big hullabaloo 2 years ago, is pretty much sorted out. Now it's about what's the quality of the answer. And to us, this is what we're dealing with now. This is what you're dealing with. This is what Linda's talking about. Knowledge fed into AI systems in a very tightly integrated, interdependent way is what is needed to deliver quality answers on the other end. Simple. So, AI, or I'll use AI generically rather than saying Gen AI every time. AI is amazingly valuable in improving the speed with which you can build and maintain knowledge systems. Of course, it still needs humans to contribute to the knowledge in the first place, but we'll get to that in a second. So that's one side of it. And the other side of it is that you need trusted knowledge to feed into AI systems to deliver good answers. That's it. That's the reason for the two to work together tightly at all times. If you don't keep that connection tight, you run into this problem. And that's the reason, as Linda said, a bunch of these companies that have started out had to hold back. A lot of tools that have been promising amazing gains recognize that without that trusted content coming from knowledge systems, AI is an interpolation tool. It's going to give you what you give it. It might look a little nicer, but it will essentially be the same quality. And so what we are doing is solving that garbage in, garbage out problem.